What screams, I'm not feeling good mentally at all? Before we start with the first story, please hit subscribe and ring the notification bell to stay updated with us. Story 1. Speaking from personal experience, having time to do things you enjoy, but doing nothing, not out of laziness, more like lack of motivation. In my 30s, dealt with the same thing, worsened over time, couldn't read like I used to, play an RPG or anything new. All roguelikes and multiplayer games that I could easily jump out of. After getting past depression and all that, it ended up being ADHD. After the long process to unpack that, medication has helped to get me back on track. I'm still adjusting, but I'm accomplishing things that have taken me years to do prior. I look forward to the weekends because I'll have time to do what I enjoy. Then the weekend gets here, and it's like I can't motivate myself to do those things, and I end up just sleeping the weekend away instead. Story 2. Feeling overwhelmed by simple decisions, like choosing what to wear or what to eat. I get such horrible decision fatigue with my job, healthcare. When I get home, my GF will always be like, "What do you want for dinner? Want to go out? Order in? Cook?" I tell her to please just pick something she knows I like and I'll go pick it up or get the door when it's delivered. After 12 straight hours of making a million decisions about people's lives and well-being, I just don't have the mental fortitude to decide between pizza or sushi or delivery or takeout. Just make food appear. Story 3. I know I'm bad off when I've lost my appetite. I love food, only happens during periods of extreme stress. When I couldn't even eat my favorite foods, I realized how bad it was. I also couldn't sleep or watch TV videos at all. Only listen to music and do the necessary tasks each day. When this happens to me, I know the depression's back. I mean, the hopelessness is constant, but I don't consider myself constantly depressed. But when I find myself wanting to remain hungry until I'm not, that's when I know my mental state in a worse state. Last time it happened, people started noticing how skinny I got in a short period of time. It's the first time it got that worse. I never want people to notice that I'm having problems mentally, so I just said I got sick. I did actually got a cold that quickly went away in like 3 days. But I haven't been eating properly in like 2 weeks. People thought I caught a bad flu with my very obvious weight loss. Nope, just miserable. Story 4. Short responses, abuse, not talking to friends, loss of interest in previously enjoyed activities. I'm in this situation right now. I don't know how to get out of it. I'm considering options though. Maybe go back to therapy. I don't feel like I can talk to my soul about it because she for some reason takes it personally when I am unhappy. So I have just pretended that everything is fine. I even told myself that in order to not have to deal with it. But I do, or rather don't, all of these points. It just dawned on me recently that it probably is serious and I better do something. Going around unhappy for the rest of my life would not be ideal, to say the least. I have been this way most of my life, sadly. I get short bursts of happy life and a lot of downtime in between where I just lose all my interest and hope and start abusing substances. Until I get another few months of happy life again. The cycle never ends. Story 5. Came here to say this. I am constantly exhausted lately for no reason. Like I think I'm okay mentally, but clearly I'm not because I'm normally the clean my house twice a week human and I just can't lately. I think it's partially out of frustration as well, which encompasses not mentally okay. I clean and these 2 dogs and 2 cats and man and kid just make messes constantly. I work hard at 2 jobs and it's just too much. Yes, I am at fault for having 2 dogs, both puppies 2 YRs for one and 4 months for the other. 2 cats, a man and a kid, but holy duck. And before anyone jumps the gun, the man is a blessing. Anytime I just can't, he does it for MME. Just not to my standard and definitely not mopping, ha ha ha. But Lord have mercy. This comment hit home. Story 6. Usually for me, it's difficult processing what people are saying and having trouble starting sentences. It's about to happen tomorrow morning, considering it's Monday tomorrow. Happens to me all the time. My hearing is excellent, but I can't understand what people are saying half the time and have to ask them to repeat once or twice. That coupled with I frequently jumble words when starting sentences. I don't know what's wrong with me, LOL. Never used to be like this, edit. Also have brain fog with terrible memory, trouble concentrating, and no feelings of happiness nor sadness. Everything seems just bland and dull. Feels like I'm just existing and watching my life through someone. 12 years ago, when I was a teenager, I was the complete opposite. Wonder what changed? It's interesting how many of you are having the same problems. Story 7. Seclusion and reluctance to start conversations or do activities. When I get into a particularly depressive mood, I will literally lay in bed for hours and days. Not even on my phone or anything. Literally just laying there staring at the wall, only ever getting up when the urge to pee becomes too much. My GF will come home and be like, I want ice cream, put on some pants, you're coming with me. I'll try to say no, but the ice cream isn't for her, it's for me and she knows that. I'm not gonna turn down ice cream twice. It may not turn me around immediately, but within an hour or two, I'm feeling a bit more alive and not just stuck in bed. Story 8. When you go to the doctor and you genuinely feel embarrassed answering the mental health questionnaire. I get asked, have you had any feelings of depression? And that's all. The one time I hesitated answering. Thought that maybe I should finally say yes because I've felt depressed for years, but have been too afraid and ashamed to admit it. The nurse just added on, we just need to know if you're going to hurt yourself. So I said no, because I had no plans to hurt myself. So I continue to say no, I'm fine every year when I'm asked. Because if I'm not planning to hurt or off myself, then I guess it's not bad enough to mention. Story 9. Always low energy. I'm going through this right now. Work is so toxic. I'm perfectly fine on weekends. Early hours Monday mornings it starts. The moment I open my eyes, I throw up, I cry and cannot stop. I shake, I get the runs. I cannot calm myself down. I went to work this morning, stayed for an hour, told my boss I simply cannot cope today, and I left without asking. I just told them. I went to my doctor, got an injection to knock me out. I'm currently in bed, saw the doc an hour ago and I'm still awake. Got put on more anxiety meds and booked off for today. Mind you, I'm alone in the office, but the thought of the boss calling and screaming at me, and the fact that the male boss could possibly come into the office, made me so anxious, it made me sick. I know I'm going to get for taking today off, but today I just couldn't deal. It's really so toxic. I'm thinking about whether I should just quit or wait until I have another job. Story 10. Apathy is a big one, I think. That's something I am struggling with for sure. I have PTSD and some other conditions related to the military, and I'm finding it nigh impossible to even care about things my girlfriend needs. Nobody is trying to kill us. This stuff isn't important. I struggle to keep track of the days. I disassociate a lot and just zone out. I don't sleep at night. I'm just generally a miserable person, it feels like. I often think everyone would be better off if I just disappeared. I don't want to die per se, but if I was gone somewhere by myself for the rest of my life, I wouldn't burden anyone else with my existence, and everyone would be better off. My kids, my ex-wives, my family, everyone. Story 11. Sleeping like 22 hours a day. Getting up only to not wet the bed, and sometimes you don't even sleep, you just out the covers over your head to block out as much light as possible and stare off into the distance. Your mind not really forming any coherent train of thoughts until finally sleep brings release. If you're lucky, a dream of a time when you weren't in pain. A dream far away from reality. But you aren't lucky. You awake and the sun is setting now, another day gone. Whether you got up or didn't doesn't matter at all. This one got me. I went through this in 2021 during a pregnancy and abortion. One day I'm pretty sure I slept the entirety of the day. On the day I had the abortion, I was on a road trip and I didn't get out of the car one time the entire 16 hours. I just slept and laid there. Didn't even get out to pee. I'm not sure how. I would sit in my dark room every day, wasting so many days away, and any simple task, even just grabbing water, felt like it took all my energy. Wouldn't wish that feeling on anyone. Hope you're okay. Story 12. Headache, stomachache, loss of appetite, overeating, extreme weight loss, gain, loss of previous interests, withdrawn more than usual, or even more energy than usual. The last point can often be overlooked. You might think they're having a great day week, but in reality it's way worse. They just have to work harder to hide it all, so people do not try to worry. Check in with friends, family. There are so many out there that are not okay. Really good point about the abnormally energized behavior. I can't sleep when my mental health is bad, and that results in this really nutty, high-energy, erratic mood that makes me appear bubbly or vivacious. totally masks what's really going on, and it even temporarily boosts my work and uni performance until the crash. It's insidious. Story 13. Whatever I've been doing the past week, laid off my job off 13 years last week with a house and family off 5. It's a struggle to do anything, especially convince my family it's going to be okay. I haven't applied online before or filed for unemployment. It's too much new with so much relying on me. Terrifying. I'm with you there. It's hard to explain the nuances of my job, but I have 14 years and I will no longer have a job after the end of the year. There is a huge financial and logistical incentive for my company to get me to finish out the year. Here is the kicker. I found this out 7 weeks ago, and my company has been telling there will have another role that will be a promotion. I've been patient, checking in and not looking for another job yet because I did like the company and wanted to stay. It all culminated last week with a big meeting, teams as we are all remote from each other. It was a massive dog and pony show, with the big boss putting on such a bad acting job I thought the whole thing was a parody. I was offered a severance if I finish out the year, but they may find another job for me in the company, so let's have this meeting again in November. The funny thing is people use the term gaslighting wrong all the time, but what I just went through the last 7 weeks is a textbook gaslighting job. They have been pumping me up, giving me shout out on the company newsletter, the CEO giving me some nice words on a quarterly all-staff meeting, telling me how great I am and my importance to the company. It's crazy because 7 days ago I would have said it's a great company and an amazing place to work. Now I would not recommend the place at all, and I just want out. Any promotion. The dog and pony show left such a bad taste in my mouth there is no way I can stay. Story 14. Low frustration tolerance. Example. Something that would normally be considered a mild inconvenience or mildly annoying makes you big mad, like out of proportion mad, having no feelings at all. Feeling entirely and utterly alone, like you are a burden on anything and everything around you. If you're in the US, you should know your area probably has a local mental health authority and that they will serve you, regardless of your ability to pay. They are funded by your taxes and also usually have other types of social services too. Also 988 is the US and Canada too, I think, crisis line. Story 15. Getting up every morning, wishing you were somewhere else. Knowing your job is a grind and nothing more. Wishing you had the freedom to travel and see places you've always wanted to, but you can't because you're a prisoner to your routine and your employer. Getting called and paged constantly while trying to sleep. So now you hear ghost buzzing from your phone because Teams buzzes constantly. If you try and set boundaries, you're hanging by a thread with your employer. The thing you desire most but aren't brave enough to do is just pack a suitcase, blow off work, and drive away and go see the things you want to. And come back when you feel like it. But you know you'll never be able to do that without serious consequences, so that's denied to you. So slowly but surely, it starts to eat away at you. The conflict between wanting to just leave and being responsible in a mundane and repetitive job routine where your employer expects hyper-detailed timesheets of every hour of your day, expects you to be on call every day including weekends, and essentially owns you and your time lest you be fired. All you want is to be left alone, to have freedom to come and go as you please and see what you want wherever you want, to make your own work schedule and get paid well for it, to grow into someone useful who is loved by others and is part of something they can look back on proudly and say, I lived a good life. Maybe that's not mentally unwell. Maybe it's just me screaming and mentally venting on here. I'm not suicidal, not by a long shot. But I'm not exactly mentally optimal right now either. So there's that. Alright folks, that's a wrap. If you like this, please hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. You can also share your thoughts in the comment below.